Hi, what's up? My name is nnuery, and I'm here to answer some questions with Sounds of the Future, man.
Is that 508?
Yeah. Nah, I'm back in this shit. I'm just back in this shit. I'm back in this shit. I'm just back in this shit. Nah, I'm back in this shit. I'm back in this shit. I'm back in this shit. Yeah.
What's up? It's Nolan. Another episode of Sounds of Future TV. Who we joined with today?
nnuery, man.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Appreciate you for bringing me on.
So just to start off, bro, I want to talk about how you got into music. Can you talk about kind of your upbringing and stuff that inspired you to get into this career?
It's funny, I was just talking about this earlier. So basically, I started around 2023. I started off as a joke, all my life, third grade, I wrote I wanted to be an athlete or a rapper. Athletics ain't work out. I ain't been doing this since I was young. So for me, I was like, let's try rapping. And, I used to be on the game freestyling with the bros at night or whatever. And, it started off as a joke. And then, eventually I got my first computer. My dad helped me buy my first computer. We built it. And my mom got me my first USB mic. It was a little cheap mic, but it did the job, And after that, I got a cracked version of FL Studio, and we just got to running it up. I started hopping on YouTube beats. For me, my boy over there, he was supporting. He helped me in all that. Other times we used to do songs for fun on any beats and all that. And yeah, it started like that, and I just continued to have my times where I wanted to stop going, but you gotta push through, have patience, and now we're here.
Was that kind of when that realization came that you realized that you weren't going to be an athlete? Was that kind of hard for you to recognize, or was the pivot kind of simple in that sense of music is the next step?
Yeah, it was pretty simple. The transition was smooth. It wasn't nothing that I always had that mindset that becoming an athlete, it takes a lot. You have to be doing it for a long time, and it's about 1% of people join the league, the big leagues, and that's a number that scared me at the time. I was young. I was in 4th, 5th grade. I'm like, that's a really low number for people to just they devote all their time into. And I had started late, quotes, but I was like, music could be the next thing. I grew up around it, more around Spanish culture, but that's always gonna be in my blood. I drift away from that. My sound is very different from the Spanish, but I can do it. So that's the good thing about it. So just when athletics didn't work out, it's just music is the next step. Okay.
So I also want to talk about, were you born and raised in the Bronx?
Yeah, I was born and raised in the Bronx.
So I want to talk about growing up there and how that kind of shaped you as a person, and also the type of music you make. You mentioned how, the Hispanic heritage is kind of big in your roots, and obviously in the Bronx, that's very heavy. So speak about that.
So as for upcoming in the Bronx, just growing up, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I had a great family. My parents had it rougher than me. They moved over here when I was born, and they didn't really have beds to sleep in. Everybody had to was crammed into the crib. They couldn't really do much. Everybody had to work. My dad is a very self-taught guy, and that's where I get a lot of my inspiration from. I do a lot of things for myself. Independence, I'm big on that. I edit my own videos. I produce my own music, mix. I have times where obviously I have other external sources, but I like to do things a lot of by myself. I'm more of a self-taught guy, but I got a lot of motivation from that. And just growing up, I just kept it pushing. I didn't really have it rough. My parents, thank the Lord, my parents were able to support and bring me up as well. Even though they don't really support the music as much, since it's not what they really listen to, and they're more on the older side, but they still know that I'm always get it how I'm supposed to. And that's for how the Spanish culture inspired my music. You don't really hear much when you listen to it, but it's I can do it. I have songs in Spanish and I have songs in English, but in Spanish, obviously is more my culture. It revolves around that. But when it comes to the English, it doesn't really blend much with it, but it's there. I'm very versatile. I make sexy drill, rap, all that stuff, that comes from the city. I can pretty much do. I learned how to get into every aspect because I believe versatility is a big thing especially being an artist.
So you mentioned earlier how you were always kind of independent in the sense of doing things on your own, but obviously you have a good support system here with you. Can you speak about that? And you mentioned how your parents don't necessarily support your music all the way, but in that same sense, you got a friend group that does support your music fully. And what is it like to have a team like that really reinforces your dreams in that sense?
Honestly, it's the best. I couldn't ask for better people. It was one of those things where it was started with my boy Angel. I met him in middle school, 7th grade. We got cool. It was all jokes. We got cool, been talking a lot. We had classes together. And like when he left, you know, I stayed in the school. He transferred to a different school. We got closer. He witnessed me do. He witnessed everything I've been through for me. So like it was like it started with that. And then we was just talking about this earlier, how he got a job, right? For summer youth employment, SYP, and he met Jacoby there. And he told me to pull up. You know, he told Jacoby about me. He was like, oh yeah, pull up. I came the next day. Instantly came my USB. We started talking. I got cool with Jacoby. Now my boy Jaden right here, he also went to middle school with me. We wasn't as close. We got cool towards like high school, but then he ended up leaving. So for me, we ended up rekindling. You know, I was like, yo, bro, make content, you know. Because my thing is, I believed in building a team. We got every aspect. We got VHS, we got clothing brand, we got producer, engineer, and then we got a photographer right here. You know, my boy Joe. I recently got cool with him, and we've been working. I've been investing to him. Feel me? He don't really make he don't make music. He wasn't making music before he met me for real. He just made it for fun. I told him, yo, take it serious. I'm gonna help you. You already know, bro. Like, I'm here to help. I'm grateful for the people I have around me. And there's so much other people behind the scenes that's not even here. And I'm grateful for them. And I'm grateful for this opportunity too, man.
Of course, bro. To speak more on that independence aspect of things, you obviously got a team with you that's, you know, in the sense of the music industry.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of artists, they have goals of, you know, getting to a major label and signing all these deals and getting that money and stuff and getting those advances. But
yeah.
Is that something that you considered as you growing as an artist and, you know, get different opportunities? Or would you prefer to stay in this mold of people that you know are, you know, have the right intentions in mind with you? Or what are your thoughts on that?
My thing is, whoever's with me and starved with me and walked with me, they're going to come up with me. So it's one of those things like, I want to help everybody around here. I could have easily came here by myself today. Mm-hmm. But I told him my boy Angel needed footage for the VHS that helps him build his portfolio. I got my boys Beanie Jaden right here. I got my other boys Brand. Remember, they're not even here with us, and I'm wearing their stuff. I'm a guy that's here to help everybody. I brought Joe here so he could take. We're gonna take him to the studio later, make some music. He taking pictures, stuff that he could post for his portfolio because he's a photographer. And Jacoby, you just could say like he really got me here because I would have quit if it wasn't for Jacoby and Angel. I would have definitely quit. So it was like. Yeah, the independence is definitely one thing. I should direction in the future. You know, I'm grateful for whatever I get. We gonna make the wrong decisions eventually. There will be mistakes, but you know, I'm just grateful for everything I have. I don't do this for the money. I do it because this was something I wanted to do. The money just comes with it, you know.
To speak more on the money aspect of music, a lot of artists are money motivated in that sense.
That's true.
And you mentioned how you're not necessarily doing it for the money. It's more so just for, you know, personal stuff.
Yeah, it's just.
But I want to talk about. Do you feel like that's an issue in the music industry where, even in the space of the music industry and like content creation or just anything social media related in general, people are kind of straying away from the authenticity aspect of it and kind of going more towards they just see dollar signs when it comes to the work. And how do you think that could be fixed, if at all?
All right. So first and foremost, I'm really big on authenticity. I feel like if you're not the original version of yourself, you're automatically in a failing aspect, because when it comes to anything creative, especially content, streaming, you have to have your own way of doing things. I feel like if you're doing it for the money, go ahead, you can do it. If you get far with it, you was the lucky one out the batch. But it's really not. It should not really be a mindset to do that, because it's like if you do it, but it's not smart, because you just won't go too far with it unless you're one of the lucky ones. And so it's like, if it's not your passion, you're gonna have those days where you're not gonna want to record, and you eventually it's gonna turn 1 day into 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. For me, it's gonna keep going like that, and you're just like, oh, I'm doing it for the money. So I feel like that shouldn't be a drive, and that's to fix that. Like, I feel like it's fixable, but it's just like social media ruined that. It built a, like, they see rappers, you know, chains, VVS style shows, all, you know, girls, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Everybody want to live that lifestyle, but nobody want to go get it, you know? Mm-hmm. So that plays a big factor. It could definitely change. I at one point was like, man, don't get me wrong, I want money. We all want money, but I enjoy doing this, so I know I'm going to keep doing it, and the money just going to come with it. I'm investing money into it now for the money to come later.
What would you say has been the biggest lesson you've learned so far in your career that you've been able to kind of carry out as you progress? And, you know, not even lessons that you keep as an artist, but maybe also that you bring into your personal life.
My biggest thing is just have patience. Honestly, that's something I had to learn to, adapt to. I didn't really have patience. I wanted, I've been around people that have had way more numbers than me. I'm talking like 30,000, 50,000, 100,000. Everybody wants that. I want it too, but I know like my time will come. I gotta have patience. I gotta work on my craft before, I work in other groups. I have to prioritize myself before I try and just go and leech off anyone else. I don't like leeching off no one else. I don't support handouts. I don't do none of that because it's like I feel like you got to get it on your own. And so, but you can work with a team like how I'm doing. We're all doing our stuff individually, but we're all gonna get it on our own, and we're all gonna just forge together, and there's gonna be a big group, and everybody's gonna have their individual success.
To speak more about success, how would you personally define success? Because a lot of people obviously have different definitions of that point where they'll feel successful. Well, one person may feel like if I'm selling out a stadium, that's my point of success, while others may feel like if my song is jumping in the hood, then that's tough for me. So what's it for you?
Everybody has a different definition of success. I feel like to me, success looks like being able to drop music and have a set fan base that I know will continue supporting me. I could grow with. I'm getting love, and I show love back because I don't like egoing people. I feel like everybody needs some attention, So to me, success, a sold out stadium is success too. That's a lot of people. So like that's really a big goal. I also plan on having my first show this year, hopefully, God willing. So like that's stuff like that. To me right now is success, because 2 years ago, this is what I wanted. I didn't get it. I had to wait for it.
So I want to talk a little bit about the future. Obviously on Sounds of the Future, we're going to talk about it. Yeah. But, 50 years from now, how would you want to be remembered as an artist and as a person, and, the legacy you want to leave on this earth in a sense?
All right, so as of right now, I rap, I do R&B and all that stuff. But like the direction I want to go in the future, I want to go full R&B because I feel like that has the most longevity. I want to go full R&B. I've been trying to learn how to sing. As for like 50 years from now, like shit with music, 50 years from now I'll be 68. So I don't think I'll probably be producing music at that point. I don't think I'll be making. I'll just be producing beats out there, mixing or something. But at all, like, me making music now and learning how to do everything by myself can help me for that, set me up for that in the future. I could be an old head in some studio mixing, man, just because I have the experience. I've been doing this for years. So as for that, like, yeah, that's what I would say. I strive to be an R&B artist. I didn't grow up around it much. I'm not as cultured since, a Spanish culture. When it comes to the Spanish, yeah, but like the English culture, I'm not too like hip to that. But me making music, I appreciate all music, so that's why I want to go in that direction.
So to talk a little bit more about expanding beyond music too, we see artists today, like I always use Travis Scott as an example of someone who really isn't only an artist anymore. He's expanded into a whole brand of, clothing, fashion, all that type of stuff. These guys on drinks now and stuff. Is that something that you want to expand on too? Have you ever thought about getting into the fashion industry or, starting your own thing?
Yeah, actually, like a few years ago, I wanted to start a brand and everything. Like, it's something that I wanted to do, but I had to hold off on it because funding was tight. And so I was just like, I'm gonna focus on music. And then that's why we built this team. Jaden got the brand. My boy Angel got the camera, Joe got the camera, and then my engineer and producer. So we all, like, he helps me and I help all of them while they also help me. So it's like a full circle. So, he continues the brand, and maybe later on I'll make my own merchandise or something. Like, I don't know, it depends. But having those resources, look, if I make my own merchandise later, Jaden will have the experience of making clothes already. So he can pass that down to me. 2
more questions for you. Right. I want to talk about any upcoming projects, anything you want to promote, singles, stuff like that.
I just dropped the EP called What the nnuery Say. It was only on SoundCloud. It was like a little end of the year because I had a 6-month drought where I didn't drop because of, college and stuff like that. So I had to balance that for sure. But I bounced back, this year. I'm definitely going to drop a lot more like albums and EPs, way more music videos. All music video definitely dropping soon. That's something going crazy. And I'm going to definitely... Later on for the live performance, I'm gonna snip in my next Sexy Drill song that I'm gonna drop.
Bet. I'm excited to hear it. And last question, do you have any advice or words of wisdom for the audience that you want to leave with them?
Keep going, have patience. Like, it's gonna come to you eventually. There's definitely some people, I'm grateful for where I'm at right now. I'm not at the highest point in my career, but I'm grateful for it. So it's like, just keep going, have patience. It's gonna come to you if you're working. If you're doing the right things, producing the right music, and be open to criticism. somebody saying like, all right, somebody could say your music is ass, but ask them. And when somebody says my music is ass, I say, all right, help me fix it. What can I fix? Go back to those FOPs. I've been up long nights grinding. I've been trying to learn how to produce, trying to learn everything. If once you're self-taught, you can literally do anything by yourself, and just have patience, man. Just, you won't rely on nobody. It's just gonna be you. You're gonna be independent, and you're gonna be a weapon after that, like, for sure.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Sure,
that's another Sounds of Future TV interview. We're gonna be stay tapped in with you.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Excited to see where your career goes.
Thank you, bro.
Thanks again.
Appreciate y'all boys, man.
Yes, sir.
Back in the field, back like I never left, ready to spill. Only got one shot, I go for the kill. Could've went platinum if I took the drill, but I found a better way without a deal.